Hello and welcome to today's show. My name is Yanni. Welcome, and I am going to speak to you today about encouraging yourself. Now, most places where we look around us, people are saying, just get encouraged, or you must go to motivational speakers, so you must get motivated, or you must get inspiration. And most of these things are coming from the outside. But what I'm sharing with you today really has to come from the inside. Now, I'm going to share with you a few stories. Now, one of the stories is going to be from my own life as well, my own experience. But the other one is from history. It's from King David in the Bible. And I'm going to share with you what happened to him in this one specific incident and how he encouraged himself. So it has to come from the inside, because if we just think about it, if you always have to wait on someone else to come and inspire you or encourage you, then if that person or that whatever is out there to encourage you, inspire you, if that's not there, what are you going to do then? So you and I need to learn to encourage ourselves so that we can go forward and be bold and do what we need to do. Excited? Good. I'm excited as well. Now, really what we need to know about encouragement is, when are we going to encounter the scenarios where we have to encourage ourselves? It's when we are attacked or when we are discouraged. Now, there can be various things that can attribute to that. It can be in your business, things can go a little bit different to what you have expected. It can be relationships. It can people be attacking you. It can be even lawsuits or whatever it is. It doesn't really matter, because in King David's story, I'm not going to make it long. If you know the story, great. If you don't know the story, I think you're going to enjoy it. Now, David was a mighty warrior. When he was looking after his father's sheep, he killed lions and bears that tried to come and harm the sheep or take the sheep away from him. And it's even written that he even took some of the sheep out of the claws of the bears and the lions, and he would just kill them. He would destroy them. And then David, one day, that's actually how he became famous. And that's another thing that I can just point out. I'm not going to dwell on that, but each one of us need a giant in our lives to actually become famous. And that's what happened to David. He was called in, or actually sent to his brothers. They were on the front. They were fighting against another nation, and his father sent him there, and he said, go and take your brother some food and just check on them. And while he's there, he heard this one guy cursing his people, and they were too afraid to go and fight with this guy because he was a giant. He was a massive person. And in those times, they sent this man so that his name was Goliath. And they said, Goliath said, if one of your people can destroy me, can kill me, then we will be your servants. But if I kill your soldier that come to fight against me, then you guys are going to be our slaves. Now, David, he was young. He didn't have any armor or anything. He didn't even have a sword, but he had a slingshot. And he eventually went out in the power of God, and he destroyed this Philistine, this giant, by putting one of the stones right into his forehead, and then he took the giant's own sword and he cut off his head. That's how David became famous. But now, this is a number of years later, and David basically has to run for his life. He has to flee for his life. And they in their city, and they went out. And while they are out, of him and his men, I think there were about 600 of them. And while they are out, the enemy came into their city where they were staying, and they took the wives captive, the children captive. They took all the animals, everything that they had. They took it captive, took it with them, and they burned down all the homes. The whole city was burned down. Now, David and them didn't know this. They out there, they fighting in a battle. And when they come home, they just see the destruction. Their homes are being burned down, and their wives are gone, their children are gone. Everything that they own is just gone. And you know what happened? They turned against David. They said, it's your fault. You are responsible for this that happened here today. They wanted to kill him. His own men wanted to kill him. He was with them, but now they're accusing him. And just think about it. That's many times what happens in our own lives. People that are closest to us, those are many times the people who attack us and wants to persecute us almost. And David, I mean, he was down in the dumps, because now you can just think there's 600 guys around you and they want to kill you. But what did David do? He didn't go and sit and sulk. He didn't run away even. But he went aside, and it says, it's written, and it says, and David encouraged himself in the Lord. So David just took his focus away from the circumstances. He looked at God and he said, God, I will encourage myself in you. You have never let me down, and I know you will never let me down. I know you love me, and that's why I can stand against this stuff. And as he encouraged himself, then his boldness just stood up. And then he asked God, he said, do you want me to pursue the enemy, or don't you want me to? And you know what God spoke to his heart? He said, yes, pursue them, and you will recover everything that you lost. So David and these 600 guys, they went out, they recovered everything, and they brought it home. So they brought so much home that they even sent gifts to some of the other people and some of the other tribes around them. And that's only because he encouraged himself in the Lord. And that's what I'm sharing with you here today. Now, I'm going to share a personal story with you as well. It's some time ago. There were some relationships that were not so cool. But all of a sudden, one day, I received a letter from a lawyer. And I was very upset about this. Actually, it shocked me on the one hand, because I've never had that. And a fear just gripped hold of me. I was shaking. I've never experienced that, and I didn't understand why this is happening. But I was really shaking. And I said to Judy, I don't know what the heck's going on here. This is not a nice thing. This is not a cool thing. I don't know what the outcome of this is going to be, but this cannot go on. So you know what I did? I went into the spare bedroom where I usually go and sit and read and just spend time with the Lord. And then I started encouraging myself in the Lord. And I started thinking of David and other figures, historic figures, and how they stood and how they encouraged themselves. And you know, within a half an hour, I was bold. I was like I say, bold as a lion. All the fight in me came back again. And I'm a bit of a feisty person. I don't just back off. But the fight was back. But I still didn't know what to do. It was not a nice experience. It was not a nice feeling. So now this fear and all this stuff is gone. But you know what happened in the end? All the claims that they had against me and all these things, I just stood back. And at one stage, I just decided, you know what? I'm just going to give them everything that they ask. And Judy, my wife, she's strict, but she's clear-headed. And she said, no, you're not going to do that. And eventually, I went to go and see a lawyer, and this lawyer wrote a letter, and you know what? This thing just went away. It's just amazing. And that is only, I believe, because of course God surrounded us with his protection, with his love, but also I had to encourage myself, because when I fear, and when fear grips you, doesn't matter what the circumstances are, you are basically taken out of the fight and you've already lost the fight. That's why I'm sharing this story with you. And it's so powerful when we just cry out for help, but from the inside, because the help comes from the inside. It was nothing really from the outside. And that's what I'm encouraging you with today, that you will do the same thing. And there's also another scripture from the Bible. It's in Isaiah 54. It says, every tongue that shall rise up against you in judgment, you shall show to be in the wrong. And like I shared with you, my whole life is based on biblical principles. If you don't believe in that, it's okay. It doesn't matter. But it works because it's laws that are set in place. And if you apply these things, even in your own life, whether you want to acknowledge God or not, He's real. And it is going to work in your life. And some time before you blow out your last breath, you will have to acknowledge that Jesus Christ is the Lord. He is the one who made you. He's the one who put the purpose in your life. He's the one who wants you to do the things that He wants you to do. And that's the only place where we are really safe and where we are really looked after. I didn't really think I was going to go that route, but anyway, there we are. But the main thing is you need to be humble. And what does it mean to be humble? Many people say if you're humble, you must just love people and whatever. To be humble does not mean to be a doormat. Do not let people just walk all over you. That's not what I'm saying when I'm saying you need to be humble. What does humble mean? Humble means to be down to earth. And I'm just going to give you the definition from the Merriam's Dictionary. It says, not showing any feelings of superiority or showiness. I didn't try to show off and all that. And David didn't try to show off. But you know what? We conquered the enemy that was coming at us at the time. We were humble to receive help and not say, no, I don't need, I am the greatest. No, that's not how we should operate either. But you need to be bold. And many people say boldness is arrogance. It's not. There's a massive difference between arrogance and boldness. Boldness is not arrogance. It's not rudeness. But boldness, again, the definition from the Merriam's Dictionary, it says it's fearless, inclined to take calculated risks. That's what it means to be bold. You know who you are. You know what you need to do. You've got a goal. You've got a vision, and you follow that vision. And you do not allow anyone to distract you or take you away from that. You need to do what you need to do right now to encourage yourself and to move forward. But that's it. Then the fight is on, and it's good to fight. The good fight. And my question to you on this, I've shared the personal story with you. I shared David's story with you. How are you going to apply these principles in your life? Are there situations maybe in your life right now where you needed this, where you really need to just go into a quiet space and encourage yourself on the inside? I encourage you to do that. And also, if there's nothing at this time, now you know what to do in time to come in the future if something like that happens. So I really trust that you know now how to encourage yourself and that you know how to be bold and not to be treated as a doormat, because you're not. You're a leader. That's why you're here. And I appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here. Trust that this message really will mean something to you, will help you in your life. And I'm looking forward to chatting with you in the next show. Have an awesome day.